Hey folks, Luke here. Let's talk about infrared and radiant energy. I grew up on the beach in Oregon when I was young and spent a lot of time around bonfires. And one of the things that you notice as a kid around bonfires is that when you're cold, you just get closer. And if you're too hot, you get farther away. That's the only way to adjust how warm you are. You can't change your angle toward the fire, say 23 degrees, or maybe what's twice that, 46 degrees. Leaning forward, leaning back, it doesn't matter. If you're around a big hot fire, you need to get away from it or get closer to it to adjust your comfort zone, because radiant energy is very powerful and you can feel it. One of the interesting things about it is it's part of the electromagnetic spectrum, and it's a wavelength, and it is virtually not absorbed by air at all. If you have a clear day, it travels at the speed of light, and when it hits an object, liquid or solid, that's when it is converted into thermal energy. You've seen this technology employed at every buffet you've ever been to, and they have the infrared heaters above the food. So it's something that has nothing to do with the temperature of the air around you, even though meteorology would explain air masses and cold fronts and warm fronts and this sort of thing. But if you've ever been in a tanning bed, you know that the heat from the lamps is instantaneous on the surface of your skin. The sun is the exact same way. Now, I've lived in California valleys and in southern Oregon, and I spent a good deal of time in the desert. And I can tell you, when you're out in the desert, it doesn't matter. It can be 36 degrees in the morning. As soon as that sun pops up, all the warm clothes come off. Spare the long sleeves so you don't get sunburned, because it will mercilessly bake you all day long. If you've ever lived any place hot, you know that you roll up the tinted window when the sun is scorching you. It's not even comfortable. It's 93 million miles away, winter or summer. This is the puzzle. No matter, it can be 90 degrees outside, but if the sun at the height of summer is beaming on you, it's roasting you and you can feel it. And the only relief you can get in that situation is to wear a big hat and keep the sun off of your back, or maybe, you're lucky enough to find a tree and get out of the sun for a minute and realize how pleasant the day actually is. Radiant heat is awesome. It's powerful. But the sun's the same distance summer or winter. You realize in the wintertime, now I was also in the military in Germany, and I got my share of cold weather too. And you can go out in the morning and it'll be 28 degrees and the sun pops up on a perfectly blue day. It can be up all day. It never warms up. Now, cold air masses, we're talking meteorology, right? That's a slightly different thing. However, when it's a perfectly blue sky, clear day in the winter, you still can't feel the heat from the sun. It's the same distance as in the summer. You'll go out there at noon and have to scrape ice off your windows, because the sun, even though it's blasting your car, doesn't transfer enough heat to get the ice off your windows. But that same sun, at the same distance, at a different time of year, cooks you like a hot dog in the sun, gives you gnarly sunburns, kills all the vegetation that doesn't have enough water. So what explains this? Simple. Look at this picture. Is that sun 93 million miles away? No, it's not. The reason the sun feels hot in the summer and it doesn't feel hot in the winter is just like the case of the bonfire. It's closer to you when it's your summer and it's farther away in your winter. It's very simple. If you look at the AE map and you look at where the tropics are, you can clearly see that when it's closer to you, in the northern hemisphere, for example, that tropic causes all those deserts in California, northern Africa, Arabia, and then when it goes to the other end, Australia, South America, South Africa becomes a desert. The sun is close. There's no distance change between the dead of winter and the dead of summer, but the sun feels hot in the summer and it does not feel hot in the winter. On a blue day with no clouds, And so you got think about that. Just another one of those things that explains that we don't live on a ball, and that little bit of angle doesn't change a thing. When you see the sun in your face, it is directly in your eyes. And that is what you should feel consistently, because you're still 93 million miles away, supposedly. So chew on that and ask yourself, how come my front porch is freezing in the afternoon in the winter? Even though it's a blue sky and the sun is in my face, I can't feel the sun. But in the summer, it's pleasant, maybe to miserable, but it's warm. You can feel the radiant heat. And you can't feel that in the winter. So think that one over and see what makes sense to you.